Welcome to the St. Thomas More Lynchburg's Homily Podcast. We join Father Bill Martin from Unbound Ministries as he brings his insight and application to the readings for the sixth Sunday in Ordinary Time.
I use my cell phone as a timer so that I don't talk too short, and people complain to the bishop. We brought him all the way down from Vermont, and he only spoke for 5 minutes, and we expect more. So the gospel reading is a very valuable one. It's so simple, and yet it lays obligations on us. You've heard that it was said to your ancestors, "Don't take a false oath." But I say to you, do not take oaths at all. Let yes mean yes, and no mean no. Now, there's a practical thing we could think about today as we go through our day. Allow our words to reflect the truth. If the steak is overcooked and the hostess says, "How's the steak?" It's almost burned to a crisp. Tell the truth. Let the chips fall where they may. Of course, prudence is another virtue, right? So you might say, well, it looks like you've killed any bacteria that might have been in it. So everything we hear has to be taken with prudence. Prudence is another virtue that it goes along with everything. But it's good to hear these things. They seem a little extreme sometimes, but it reminds us, when Jesus says, unless your righteousness surpasses that of the Pharisees, and those were the holy people of the day, supposedly, you will not enter the kingdom of heaven. So you might look up to the Pharisees because they know a lot of stuff about the scriptures and about religion, but you've got to be better than they are, or you're not going to get to the kingdom of heaven. So these are check things. We check ourselves. We don't often compare ourselves to other people. That's not usually fruitful. But we have to compare ourselves to something, some sort of a standard, and we often use the Ten Commandments still. And when we come right down to it, they ask Jesus, okay, Lord, what are the important commandments? The important ones. There's 100 commandments. What are the important? Well, I say commandments, but I mean rules and regulations. What are the important ones? And Jesus says, you shall love the Lord your God with your whole mind, heart, and soul. That's why you're here today. You're here today because you love the Lord your God with your whole mind, heart, and soul. You want to be in this worship space, this beautiful space, in this case, which takes the place of heaven for us right now. We're not in heaven yet. So this takes its place. We create a beautiful building at great expense and maintain it and keep it and improve it and all that so that we can be kind of in the feeling that we're already in heaven. We're already here. At least on Sunday for an hour or so, it's like we're in heaven with all the other people who are saved. Very important. So a very brief biography just to explain why I'm here. And that is that I was ordained by Cardinal Spellman in 1963 in New York City. And my first assignment, they sent me, I was 26 years old, just became a priest. They sent me to New York State Prison for women. First assignment. None of you look familiar. Because that was a long time ago. And I did so well there that they felt I could handle high school teaching next. So I went off to teach high school for 15 years, physics and math. And then I joined the Air Force. So an F-16 flyby one day, and I said, how do I get a ride in one of those things? And they said, you got to join the Air Force. So I joined the Air Force. Several years later in Korea, I got my F-16 ride, 2 hours all over Korea. Very nice, very exciting for a person who was a pilot anyway. And when I came out of the Air Force, I was 60 years old. Came out of the Air Force on my 60th birthday and sat down with Cardinal O'Connor. And he said, what would you like to do next? I said, I'd like to work with a charity. I don't know how many years I have left, but I would like to spend it working with a charity that does the essential work of the church. What's the essential work of the church? As Jesus told us, the second commandment is just like the first. Love your neighbor as yourself. Who's my neighbor? Anyone that I make my neighbor, Jesus said in effect. So I signed on with this charity now called Unbound, and that was 30 years ago. I can't believe it. I've been to about 950 parishes, always hoping to get to Lynchburg, and finally made it. So what do? We take care of 260,000 children and families and aging people around the world. I take care of 6 of those myself. I always sponsor 6. Arbitrary number, but I can't ask you to do it if I don't do it myself. So I take care of 6, and could I ask you to walk down the aisle and display this picture? Hold it up as you go, facing the folks. So you can go now. Good, thank you. This is Jose, my first child. This photo is a snapshot taken, way up high, please, taken 30 years ago. And I stayed with Jose. I sponsored him for about 15 years and got him from elementary school up through trade school, where he learned how to be a bricklayer. So I hope that by now he has his own family in Guatemala and that he is a successful bricklayer. I don't know where he is or what he's doing right now, but I hope all is well with him and his family. So that's what we do. That's how real it is, real people. And what I did for him was to give him an opportunity in life which he could not possibly have had otherwise. And then, recently, I sponsored another child, and I went to Costa Rica to see her. She was 3 at the time. She'll be 5 on May 28th. Lovely little child, very happy. Made no trouble, stayed with us for the whole afternoon. Her mother and father, she's very fortunate and somewhat rare to be a little child who has both parents living with her. And I'm very proud. I actually feel a little bit like they're my children. They're not, but I kind of feel like they are. And I'm kind of proud of them when they behave nicely. So that's what I'm going to ask you to do today. Sign on with our charity and sponsor a child. I was a little bit concerned. Last night I had 2 people helping me at the tables out here, and we had 9 sponsored. We had 9 children sponsored last night, so that's a good start, better than usual. And I would like to see 15 sponsored after this Mass. One person could sponsor all 15 if they're feeling generous, or 15 people could each sponsor one. That's much more likely will happen, okay? So that would happen out here at the tables after Mass. This is what the folders look like. This happens to be Jose. Could I have those folders, please? This gentleman is 78 years old. Thank you. This gentleman is 78 years old. We take care of aging people also because they're in very difficult cultures. They don't have the care. About a week ago, I got an injection in my left eye. Happens every 16 weeks for a degeneration. I think it would cost about $2,000 every visit. In the United States, with a military background, TRICARE for life, no cost. Medicare, no cost. Had an ambulance ride within the last week to an emergency room, probably a $1,000 visit, no cost. Oh, we are well taken care of in our own culture. If we have been fortunate and prudent, we're well taken care of in our later years. But these folks, no, not in Ecuador. They don't have the provisions that we have for caring for the elderly. Mercy is a 6-year-old girl from Kenya. She would like to be sponsored. Andy, an 8-year-old boy from Guatemala. They would like to be sponsored. I invite you to consider very seriously doing this, making this move today. First 20 minutes are up. So please consider doing this today. Our charity, I often forget this, our charity is well thought of. We deliver over 90% of what we collect to the family. 10% goes to the cost of doing business, and if you're not willing to pay that, then nothing happens at all. So even that 10% goes to real people who are working within the charity or the cost of the materials we use, whatever. So to deliver 90% is very good for a charity. Everybody who examines charities says that we are at the top. We're as good as anybody else. Nobody's better in terms of efficiency. So I don't think you have to be concerned about whether your money will be well spent. We deal with the individual people. We sit down and we say, if we could provide you with $40 each month from some generous person in the United States, what would you use the money for? What does your family need the most? And after a discussion of that and coming to agree, we say, we're going to start looking. We're going to start looking for somebody in the U.S. who will sponsor your child and thereby help your family. So I would hope at the end of today's Mass, please stop by. Now, I was concerned because last night I had a helper at each table, and they're very valuable, the helpers, to get you signed up. Very valuable. But today I had nobody for this Mass. 11:15, yes, we do have 2. But not for this Mass. We had nobody. And then, ta-da, Nora popped up. Nora said hello to me, and she said, I am a sponsor. So, Nora, I'm asking you, do you have time after this Mass to help me at the table? There she is. How many children have you sponsored over the years? 2? 6. Coincidental. And You did not get your children through church, through a mass. You responded to some direct advertising we must have done, right? Yes. Yes. Yeah. Excellent. Thank you. There are other charities. I hope they all do great work. We are the Catholic charity in this level of charitable work, sponsorship of children and aging people. So thank you very much. She will be helping me at the table. How can she say no in front of a couple of hundred people, right? And so I'm going to try to make this simple, but it's still not simple in my own head. If you want to sponsor Andy, you pick him up out here at the table. If you are adept with QR codes, you shoot his QR code symbol, and you can work it out all the way right through to payment by whatever, credit card, whatever. You can work it all out and accomplish the sponsorship of him while you're standing at the table. And that's fine if you do it, if you know how to do that, if you like to do it. Otherwise, there's a folder. I'm sorry. There is a form. You fill that out, method of payment, other information, give it back to us, and that's how I mail it in tomorrow, or Tuesday in this case. And you will receive proof that you are sponsoring that particular person. No matter what, you take home the folder here. That's your child. So Andy, you are the only sponsor of Andy, and you have the power to change his life for the better. The only question is, do you have the desire to do it? And do you have the generosity to do it? Many are not in a position to do this. I fully respect all the good that you do, that you accomplish. We're still friends. Even if you don't sponsor, stop by and say hello anyway.
Thank you for tuning in to the St. Thomas More Lynchburg's Homily Podcast. For the daily reading and to learn more about the community of St. Thomas More, please visit our website at www.stmva.org. If you were blessed by our podcast today, please give it a like, a kind review, and share it with a friend. God bless.